When we were in second grade, we loved to play horses. And Sophie, the new girl, she was the best at it. She would become a horse and gallop around the playground and trot down the halls and stomp her feet. We all loved Sophie the horse. We made tiny braids in her hair and painted rainbows on her cheeks. And then one day, one totally normal, unspecial day, Adrian comes into school and announces that it's penalty day. We've all had that one person in school, the person who has to tear somebody down for no reason at all. The person that everyone needs to look good for, because you never know who the next victim will be. Sadly, the unwanted wish came true for the sweet and innocent Sophie. Traveling through Adrian's eyes, we will see What Makes and Breaks the Shape of a Girl by Joanne McLeod. On penalty day, one girl is chosen to be it, and everyone else is mean to her the entire day. No one is to have any contact of any kind with it any time except homeroom. On the school bus, it has to sit on the fourth seat on the left. And at lunch, all the proportions will be given up evenly to it from all the other girls. If it talks to any boys, it will be dealt with by me. Its lunch will be given to you by a minimum amount by everybody else. It will make no comments and it will not look at me. Are we clear? Why were we doing this? Who knows? Adrian didn't even know when it was her game. It was just part of school, I guess. We would pretend that it has fleas and everyone else would walk around with FP written on their hand for flea proof. On the first day, Adrian offered to go first, and we got to be mean to her. But I wanted to be first too. By the end of fourth grade, the penalty day rules has gotten as complex as World War II. I mean, except for the rules for the person themselves. The victim had just gotten easy. It was Sophie. Sophie had gotten so used to becoming invisible and worked so hard to make sure that Adrian would not notice her or that nobody would notice her. Adrian seemed to have forgotten about Sophie until one day, 3 weeks ago. It was morning and I walked into this girl's bathroom and Sophie's in the mirror applying her neon blue eyeliner and mascara and makeup and blush. But then Adrian comes barging out of that last stall. She had been bawling her eyes out and her eyes were bloodshot a rabbit pink. No wonder, it was probably about all the boy drama in the past. But she fixed her eyes on Sophie. And without a doubt, she grabs her. What are you looking at? Sophie freezes. I asked you a question. Sophie doesn't move. Adrian drops her history book onto Sophie's foot. But Sophie doesn't even blink. Pick it up. Silence. Let's go. Sophie's a statue. I said, pick it up. In my head, I'm screaming, Sophie, do something, anything, fight. But Sophie just bends over. And in that moment, I hate her. Because all that work that she had used to pretend to be invisible to everybody, mainly just Adrian, it was all gone. Adrian kicks her down on all fours. And Sophie's helpless. Lovely. Sophie, the little pony. Sophie tries to get up, but Adrian's boot shoves her onto the ground. Sophie tries to turn her head, but Adrian grabs her by the collar of the shirt and keeps her from looking over at me. Sophie tries to turn her head one more time, and finally Sophie's head turns, and she looks at me. Bernie, please, help me. Do something. Adrian pulls Sophie towards the toilet. I think Pony needs a drink. And just like that, right in that moment, you do what you have to do. You look down and you walk out the door, and you go to class. I felt weird and pukey when I left that room, like everyone was staring at me. At lunchtime, I go looking for Sophie. I walk out to the bus, I head to the baseball field, to the bleachers. Nowhere. Sophie was nowhere. After school, when I get on the bus, Adrian is waiting for me. I say to her, Adrian, what happened in there? What are you talking about? Nothing happened. And then I see the empty seat. 4 seats to the left. Sophie's seat. I start to tremble. I try to speak, and Adrian says, shut up. Quit breathing like a pervert. And in that instant, I realize that my friend is gone. I leaned out the open window of the bus and I puked all down the side of it. The kids all screamed for the driver to pull over and stop, and I ran from the bus back into the school where the girls' bathroom was. My hands are shaking as I'm splashing the ice-cold water onto my face. When I turn off the tap, I hear a whimpering sound from the last stall in the back of the room. I slowly walk up to it and I push open the door. Nothing but a loud creak from the rusty hinge and the whimpers of sweet, innocent Sophie. Sitting on the toilet lid, her eyes and lips are puffed and purple. When she sees me, she covers her head and acts like I'm going to hit her. Which I would never do, because I didn't do anything. I never did anything. I never did anything. And then Sophie starts rocking back and forth when all of a sudden she leans forward and begins smashing her head into the side of the stall. And as I watched her, I thought, wow, we did a good job. Even Sophie hates Sophie.